Have you ever found yourself wide awake at 3 a.m., eyes darting to the clock, heart quietly sinking as you realize you're up yet again far too early? Maybe you thought retiring would finally mean peaceful, extended rest each night. Yet here you are, staring at the ceiling in the small hours, wondering, why does this keep happening? You're not alone. After 70, our sleep patterns can grow unpredictable, leaving us feeling groggy, frustrated, and strangely isolated in those early morning hours. But this sleeplessness doesn't have to dominate your nights or your life. Today, we're talking about the reasons behind these 3 a.m. wake-ups and the secrets to achieving a truly restful night's sleep. By the end of this script, you'll have practical insights and gentle strategies to help you drift off peacefully and stay slumbering until morning. Let's explore what our bodies might be trying to tell us when we find ourselves awake, counting the minutes till dawn. Have you ever asked yourself, is my body just broken? Why can't I sleep like I used to? That worry is common once we pass 70. Sleep becomes lighter, our joints sometimes ache, and we might pop awake to shuffle to the bathroom more often. Yet behind these middle-of-the-night wake-ups lie multiple factors: hormonal shifts, changes in daily routine, even emotional undercurrents. Understanding these triggers can transform 3 a.m. wakefulness from a nightly frustration into a signpost gently guiding us to adjust our habits, environment, or mindset. Think of it this way: your body isn't rebelling, it's calling for a bit more care and attention. Let's start with something almost everyone experiences as they age: reduced melatonin production. Melatonin, sometimes called the sleep hormone, cues our brains that it's time to rest, helping us fall asleep and stay asleep. But after 70, our pineal glands produce less of this crucial hormone, making it easier for small noises, minor discomfort, or even fleeting thoughts to wake us. Picture Elizabeth, age 75, who used to sleep through thunderstorms in her younger days. Lately, she's been waking up at the slightest rustle of wind or chirp outside. At 3 a.m., she's often fully alert, left pondering the day's concerns when she yearns to still be in dreamland. Once she learned about the melatonin drop and realized she wasn't alone in this, Elizabeth felt less at war with her body. She began wearing a soft sleep mask and switched to warm, dim lights an hour before bed to naturally encourage her system to produce what melatonin it still can. She also spoke with her doctor about low-dose melatonin supplements, discovering that a small dose, used responsibly, could lengthen her periods of deep sleep. That single shift began to transform her 3 a.m. wake-ups into rarer incidents. But what if hormones aren't the only culprit? Another big piece of the puzzle is the shifting sleep cycle known as an advanced sleep phase. In simpler terms, older adults often get tired sooner in the evening and thus wake up earlier in the morning. You doze off at 9 p.m. because your body says bedtime, so come 3 or 4 a.m., you might have already gotten your 6 or 7 hours. This pattern isn't necessarily bad, but it conflicts with a society that still expects us to be asleep until sunrise. Think of Walter, 74, a retiree who nods off on the couch by 8:30 p.m. and then wonders why he's wide awake before the newspaper even arrives. Once he realized it was an internal clock issue, he started pushing his bedtime back by 15-minute increments each week, reading under a bright lamp or chatting on the phone with his brother out west to keep himself stimulated a bit longer each evening. Gradually, his body clock adjusted, and now he often sleeps until 5 or 5:30 a.m., leaving him more refreshed for the day ahead. Still, not everyone's story revolves around shifting circadian rhythms or melatonin dips. Physical discomfort or chronic conditions can knock us out of sleep, especially in the quiet hours when your mind's free to notice every twinge. Arthritis, for instance, can cause stiffness if you haven't moved for a few hours. Or if you're experiencing nighttime acid reflux, lying flat might trigger heartburn strong enough to stir you from slumber. There's also that frequent bathroom trip that seems so urgent around 3 a.m., an especially common challenge for men dealing with prostate issues and for women coping with changes in bladder elasticity. It might seem like a small matter, but once you're fully awake, it's no small feat to ease yourself back into rest. Kathleen, 77, used to find her arthritic knees throbbing by the small hours. She discovered that placing a pillow under them and doing a few gentle stretches at bedtime loosened her joints, reducing her early wake-ups. It wasn't a magic cure, but it gave her some control over the problem, letting her manage pain rather than letting pain manage her. Beyond physical cues, our lifestyle habits quietly reset the stage for 3 a.m. wakefulness. Eating dinner very early, for instance, might lead to a dip in blood sugar in the wee hours, giving you that panicky, wide-awake feeling. Or if you've drastically cut back on daily activities, your body might not feel sufficiently used and tired enough by bedtime. That's partly why some older adults find themselves dozing off in the late afternoon, even though they didn't plan to. Then, guess what happens around 2 or 3 a.m.? Being wide awake. Consider Marvin, 73, who used to fill his days with tasks. Once retired, however, he found himself with endless free time. He'd read a magazine, nod off around 2 p.m., watch a bit of TV, nap again at 7 p.m. while the news played, and by 9 p.m. he was wandering off to bed. No wonder he woke up well before dawn, feeling restless. By introducing small routines, like a morning walk, a midday volunteer session, and avoiding TV close to bedtime, Marvin's body relearned a rhythm of alertness in daytime and rest at nighttime, cutting down those early-hour awakenings. At times, though, the root cause of 3 a.m. restlessness runs deeper than hormones or routine. Emotional and psychological restlessness can creep in, especially as we navigate the transitions and reflections that come with age. When life becomes quieter, the mind can become louder, revisiting old memories, regrets, or unresolved anxieties. At 3 a.m., the day's distractions have vanished, leaving us alone with our thoughts. This phenomenon is sometimes called the 3 a.m. epiphany, but it doesn't always feel uplifting. It could be a swirl of worry or nostalgia, making it tough to slip back into slumber. Alice, 78, found herself routinely awake at 3:30 a.m. with her heart pounding. She didn't feel ill, but it was like her mind was rummaging through an attic of old experiences. Her late husband's passing, regrets about missed chances, and even uncertain hopes for her grandchildren's future. She tried journaling before bed, allowing herself a quiet half hour to write down anything that worried her or that she felt grateful for. Over time, this nightly ritual cleared some mental space and made it less likely that her mind would ambush her in the middle of the night. If any of these stories resonate with you, rest assured that you're far from alone in facing these 3 a.m. challenges. What, then, can you do to reclaim your nights? Let's talk about practical secrets that can gently guide you toward more consistent, restful sleep. The first, and often most overlooked, is crafting an evening wind-down ritual. Picture that last hour before bed. Are you gazing at bright screens, flipping channels on TV, or dealing with stressful phone calls? Our bodies naturally respond to light levels. If you're bathed in strong, cool-toned light from devices or overhead fixtures, your brain can interpret it as daytime. Try dimming lamps, switching off the TV, or at least wearing blue light blocking glasses to reduce melatonin suppression. For a calmer mental state, consider listening to soft music, reading a comforting book under a warm lamp, or even practicing gentle stretches. Think of it like you're guiding your body into a calm harbor before it fully docks for the night. Another trick involves food and beverage choices. Avoid caffeine after noon if you can, since caffeine's effects can linger in the body much longer than you think. Even if you used to chug coffee late into the afternoon decades ago, our metabolism shifts as we grow older, making it harder to process caffeine quickly. Pay attention, too, to dehydration. Drinking enough water during the day means you can taper off as evening arrives, hopefully reducing how many times your bladder drags you out of bed. Also, keep an eye on sugar intake. Even a sweet treat at dinner can cause small blood sugar surges and crashes, fueling that sudden nighttime alertness. If you do want to snack before bed, aim for something with a little protein and complex carbs, like half a banana with peanut butter or a small bowl of oats with nuts. These can help maintain stable blood sugar, reducing those abrupt awakenings. If arthritic pain or acid reflux is your villain, experiment with physical solutions. Some older adults find relief sleeping on a slight incline or using a wedge pillow if acid reflux troubles them. For arthritic joints, placing pillows strategically, applying heat packs before bed, or taking a gentle stroll can help the body settle. And if nighttime bathroom visits derail your sleep, consider scheduling fluid intake earlier in the day or talking with your doctor about any diuretics or meds you're on. These subtle habit shifts can yield big improvements over time. Lifestyle changes can also play a pivotal role in quelling 3 a.m. awakenings. Our grandparents' generation often stayed physically active far beyond what's common today. Tending gardens, doing manual chores, walking to local stores. Now, with cars and screen-based leisure, older folks might not burn enough daily energy to feel deeply tired by bedtime. If you can, introduce moderate exercise, a steady walk each morning, maybe some light resistance band work, or even short, 5-minute movement breaks throughout the day to keep blood flowing. This activity not only supports heart health, but also signals your body that it has earned its rest come nighttime. If you live somewhere with cold winters, consider indoor walking areas like a mall or a community gym, or try simple at-home exercises. Marching in place during TV commercials can be surprisingly helpful. What about the emotional side? If you sense that your 3 a.m. wakefulness is more about unresolved feelings, you might develop a bedtime, mind-clearing habit. Some find writing down worries or tasks helps purge them from midnight rumination. Others might do short, calming prayers or meditation. Even cuddling a pet or listening to guided relaxation can ease emotional tension that otherwise surfaces once everything is quiet. And don't underestimate the power of social connections. Loneliness or isolation can amplify nighttime anxieties. Making a point to call a friend or participate in a local club during the daytime can foster a sense of belonging that helps you rest easier at night. More engaged days often lead to calmer nights. Let's share an example that ties together both physical and emotional strategies. Harold, age 76, had been battling 3 a.m. wake-ups for years. He'd lie there, painfully awake, dwelling on regrets about the past or fears about the future. He also had mild back pain that flared after too many hours in bed. Eventually, Harold made a few changes. First, he began a gentle, seated yoga class at his community center, which improved his back's flexibility and offered new social connections. Second, he started journaling for 10 minutes before turning in, jotting down anything that weighed on his mind and any small gratitude from the day. Finally, he set up a wind-down routine, dimming lights at 8 p.m., sipping herbal tea, reading a comforting book in a quiet corner. Over a few weeks, Harold noticed that while he still occasionally stirred in the wee hours, he found it far easier to drift back to sleep. And on some nights, he slept right through until 5 or 6 a.m., something he hadn't done in a decade. Now, does this mean you'll never see 3 a.m. again? Probably not. Our bodies are dynamic, and older adults often have nights that aren't perfect. But you can make those occurrences less frequent and less stressful. If, however, you're consistently struggling, consider speaking with a healthcare professional. Sleep studies, adjustments in medication timing, or specialized therapy can sometimes reveal underlying issues like sleep apnea, restless legs syndrome, or depression that sabotage your rest. Remember that it's not weak or failing to seek help. It's just wise self-care, especially if the problem is affecting your mood, energy, or relationships. Let's take a moment to reflect on the big picture. Sleep is a cornerstone of well-being at any age, but particularly so after 70. Quality rest supports heart health, mental acuity, emotional balance, and even immune function. Those occasional 3 a.m. wake-ups might feel like an inevitability, but you do have tools to reduce their frequency and impact. By tweaking your evening routines, staying gently active, addressing physical discomfort, and caring for your emotional needs, you can reclaim a sense of peace around bedtime. Instead of dreading the night, you might find yourself softly easing into it, confident you've created the best conditions for restful sleep. Let's circle back to that moment where you wake up in the dark. The clock reading 3 something a.m. Suppose you feel truly awake. Instead of tossing and turning in frustration, consider a short coping practice. Quietly sit up, take a few slow breaths, maybe read a few pages of a calm, non-stimulating book under a soft lamp. Don't jump onto your phone or watch bright TV, which jolt your brain into daytime mode. Instead, let your mind and body know it's still restful time. Remind yourself, it's okay to wake up briefly. I'll drift off again once I'm calm. Sometimes that simple acceptance lowers anxiety enough to help you doze back off. In other words, the more you fight the wake up, the more adrenaline you pump into your system, turning a small disruption into a bigger ordeal. Now, if you sense that your environment is at fault, maybe the temperature is off, or there's a street light glaring through the curtains, take action to fix it. For instance, a slightly cooler room can promote deeper sleep. Blackout curtains or a soft eye mask can block out that annoying glow. If your spouse or partner snores, consider solutions like earplugs, a white noise machine, or even separate sleeping arrangements if needed. Working together to refine your sleep space is essential because a small environmental tweak can drastically improve your rest. Many older adults also find that focusing on gratitude or gentle spirituality at bedtime helps hush the anxious mental chatter that awakens them mid-sleep. For example, reciting a short prayer, counting blessings, or visualizing peaceful scenes can guide your brain toward serenity. Or you might do a brief body scan, mentally checking in from your toes to your head, noticing where tension lingers, and letting each muscle group soften. Over time, such a mindful approach can rewire your emotional response to nighttime wake-ups, turning them into an invitation to practice calm rather than an invitation to fret. Lastly, let's talk about the social dimension. Younger folks often assume older adults have all the free time in the world, but the truth is that with fewer structured commitments, your day can sometimes feel a bit empty or quiet. That quiet can intensify in nighttime wake-ups because there's so much mental space for old worries or regrets to resurface. Setting modest but meaningful daytime goals, like calling a friend, practicing a hobby, or volunteering, can create a gentle mental tiredness that fosters better sleep. Gail, 72, found that volunteering at the library a few afternoons a week gave her day a sense of purpose and just the right amount of activity so that by bedtime, she felt physically and mentally content. She started sleeping more soundly and discovered fewer of those nocturnal reflection sessions that used to plague her at 3 a.m. So, let's gather these threads of knowledge into a comforting blanket of better sleep. Your 3 a.m. wake-ups might stem from many places. Your natural drop in melatonin, an advanced sleep phase, chronic pain, changes in routine, or even emotional undercurrents. But you hold the power to shape your environment, your schedule, and your habits in ways that honor your body's evolving needs. By dimming your lights before bed, avoiding late-day caffeine, gently moving your body during the day, nurturing social or purposeful activities, and practicing calm acceptance when you do awaken, you're well on your way to deeper, more continuous sleep. Look, life after 70 can be a wonderful chapter. Freer time, deeper wisdom, and hopefully more moments of joy. But a lack of quality rest steals away so much of that enjoyment, leaving us fatigued and less enthused about each day. When you show your body a bit of kindness, addressing its aches, respecting its new rhythms, and easing your mind's worries, you step into each morning with renewed zest. Think of how sweet it would be to say, I actually slept through the night and woke up feeling rested. That sense of accomplishment, of well-being, can ripple through your relationships, your hobbies, and your overall outlook. Now, you might still occasionally see that dreaded 3 o'clock on the clock. Perfection in sleep is elusive for most people, no matter their age. But hopefully, those moments become less frequent and less stressful as you learn to greet them with gentle understanding rather than frustration. If the problem persists or worsens, remember that help is available. Talk to a doctor, research local sleep clinics, or discuss it with a counselor if stress or anxiety is playing a major role. because life is too precious to spend tossing and turning in a state of worry each night. You deserve rest that replenishes your spirit. Thank you for letting me share these insights into why you might be waking up at 3 a.m. and how you can rediscover a fuller, more peaceful night's sleep after 70. If any of the stories or tips here resonated with you, I encourage you to try one small change at a time, maybe dimming the lights earlier or adding a short walk each afternoon. Let us know in the comments what you're experimenting with or which strategies have worked for you. Your experiences can inspire others in this community who may also struggle in the small hours before dawn. And if you found these ideas helpful, please tap the like button, share this video, and subscribe to our channel for more discussions on living better, feeling better, and enjoying life's many chapters. Together, we can support each other in learning how to age with grace, energy, and contentment. Until next time, may your evenings be calm, your nighttime restful, and your mornings full of hope. Keep embracing life, and remember, a compassionate approach to your body's nighttime signals can guide you toward the rejuvenating sleep you deserve. You've come this far. Now grant yourself the gift of restful nights and the vibrant days that follow. Thank you for joining us today, and don't forget to watch more of our interesting videos. Wishing you many sweet, uninterrupted dreams. Take good care.